Hey, good morning, my friends, and welcome here to beautiful Surfside, California. It is a beautiful day. It's a little breezy, not too bad. You can see kind of a sea of tranquility back there behind me. Overcast, that's kind of been the norm, although we've seen the sun peek out here. But we've got a lot to go over with you, including the nighttime bluefin tuna bite last night. We've got word from the Royal Star and some other guys about how that is. The bluefin bite in general, we'll get into that. I got trolled by Sean Roberts on the Pride about albacore, and I fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. And of course, we've got all the local bites, San Clemente Island, Catalina Island. We'll talk surf fishing. A guy with a black sea bass, nice one too, that he released in the surf and then piled on limits of halibut, wide open trigger fishing, fishing for triggerfish on the local scene. There is so much to talk about, and we'll get into it right now because you know what time it is, everybody. It's time for the morning briefing. Oh my God, is that good or what? Hey, this sea of tranquility behind me, don't let that fool you. It's windy. It has been windy for quite some time. We're still dealing with it. In fact, the San Diego, who had a good day's full day fishing out of San Diego yesterday with yellowfin and bluefin, he switched from offshore to Coronado Islands today because of the forecast for some really breezy conditions. So we'll have that and so much more. Don't forget to hit that like button. Share these videos if you are enjoying them. Subscribe to the channel as so many of you had. We're going to roll up on 10,000 subscribers, I think, by the end of July. So we're getting there in an awful hurry, all thanks to you. And don't forget to tick that bell if you want to get all kinds of announcements, and you'll be notified when we have new content. Hey, a couple things. One thing about the Friedman Adventure family, I'm talking about all of you. Couldn't be more proud of you. I mean, if I ask you to send Captain Eddie Leland a birthday card or good wishes while he is in his battle for cancer, so many of you respond. And those of you who don't respond, keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Deeply appreciate it. And then, as I was just down in Mexico, we're organizing taking some medical supplies to Tecate, Baja California Norte. Man, so many of you. We've literally sent thousands of pieces of clothing and other essentials to Mexico because of the Friedman Adventure family. Can't thank you enough for that. All right, a couple things I want to get up for you right now. The El Patron is a gorgeous sport fishing vessel out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, and they are now taking charter reservations, and you can get more information about the boat. She's beautiful. It's light load. You're going to have a lot of fun on the El Patron. So just send Chris a text to 310-980-9817 and get on the El Patron. She's a beautiful vessel. And August the 15th, we're on the horizon out of H&M Landing in San Diego. Captain Bill Wilkerson. We all love fishing with Bill. He's such a great guy and so much fun to fish with. Day and a half trip. I will be there. You're forewarned. I'll be shooting a video that you are going to star in, and that is going to be a lot of fun. And August the 15th, come on. Prime time. Couldn't get any better than that. To get on that trip, I know a lot of you tried and you've had trouble with the link. I'm just going to have you text Bill, okay? So just text Bill and he'll get you on the trip. 844-619-3474. Join us for a great day and a half trip on board the Horizon out of H&M Landing. She is gorgeous, and that should be right in the middle of some outstanding fishing. All right, let's get into it. I mentioned to you that the weather's up. That's making things difficult south of the border for the Pongueros, the guys that are fishing out of Ensenada and surrounding areas. It's just been really breezy. They've picked off some bluefin tuna, but for the most part, it's been difficult to fish out there. So a lot of guys have been hanging closer to home, picking some barracuda at Todos Santos Islands, around Punta Banda. There's been some bonita around there also, and then you can fish some rockfish. But it's been tough for bluefin tuna, principally because of the weather. Don't count those guys out down there south of the border. I was just down there having a great time in Ensenada, and I will tell you right now, they are looking down the barrel of an incredible summer and fall. It's going to get good, but we need to get out of this wind. It is driving everybody nuts. Last night, Royal Star another excellent night's fishing. I'll tell you, the Royal Star has been all over it as they've had great nighttime fishing on a regular basis. During the daytime, they only had 7 bluefin tuna. So the daytime bite is very spotty. Those fish were to 40 pounds. Some guys get them, some guys don't. Most of the time, it's a very scratchy bite. Nighttime is where you can come through with some really good scores. 34 on the bluefin tuna last night. They've been fishing in very rough seas at night, but coming through with some good scores. Some other boys had decent scores. Also, Ocean Odyssey had 33 on the bluefin tuna. The Pacific Queen just finished up a day trip with 50 bluefin tuna. There are some really poor scores. There are some lackluster scores, and there's a few really, really good scores on the bluefin tuna, so keep that in mind. You're fishing at night. If you're on a day-and-a-half trip or better, you're definitely going to want to have 100-pound on a 2-speed reel. On the daytime fish, there's been Daiwa Colt Sniper fish, fishing 50, 60-pound on those type of jigs, and then fly lining a bait with 40-pound. And of course, Opsin fluorocarbon. You want fluorocarbon, use what you like. We like Opsin. www.opsinusa.com. Put in FA, Friedman Adventures, at checkout, and you'll get a big hug and a kiss from owner Greg Brown, as well as a free gift. So make sure you do that. So I hope I've characterized that bluefin tuna bite for you. Some days, some nights are incredible, but overall, we're dealing with wind, and you know how that can be when we are into that kind of a situation. Robert Tressler was on the Tomahawk, and he was fortunate enough to be in one of those bites that was phenomenal. Really excellent fishing at night. He had a jig that was 650 grams that he was using. You know, in all this wind and current, nasty weather, those heavier jigs, 400-500 gram jigs, but he was fishing with that and getting bit every single time he dropped. Wide open trip for him on the Tomahawk. In fact, they handed that bite off to the Mustang, and they ended up getting 48 fish out of that. He had good daytime fishing, like right at sunrise, and really good nighttime fishing on that one. So as I say, it is different for everybody who is fishing that right now. And again, we'll hope that it's going to lay down in terms of this weather. I think that's only going to help. The San Diego leaves in the morning, comes back in the evening. 6 bluefin, 13 yellowfin. A yellow tail to go along with it. And you know, the water is not all that warm. You know, 65 degrees. It's trying to get up to 66 degrees, but this wind, I think, is keeping it cooler in the offshore region. 63, 65 in that kind of temperature, and that's cool for yellowfin tuna. Normally don't see it. As we mentioned yesterday, we think something larger is at play, and that El Nino is already starting to get its tentacles in here a little bit. We're starting to see more yellowfin and that type of fish. Down at Land's End in Cabo San Lucas, more blue marlin early this year than we've seen in quite some time. So something's definitely at play here. And what does that say about our albacore? Oh boy, I don't know. Getting dicey right now. There is really good albacore fishing going on right now off Eureka, way north of here. And I don't know, that's starting to sound like my albacore prediction might go up in flames again this year, but we're still in that window. Our water temperature is perfect. There's anchovy around. We got to keep our fingers crossed. Incidentally, Sean Roberts, who runs the Pride out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, trolled me and got me good yesterday. Man, he put in his count 1 albacore released. Just chumming me up, man. He knew. So I was on the horn with him. I said, hey, Sean, did you catch an albacore? He said, yeah, we got 1 albacore, a 30-pounder. We released it. I'm like, you released it? Why would you? He said, the guy didn't want it. He just didn't want it. And so he demanded that we release it right away. And I'm going, okay, well, all right. You know, I mean, Sean Roberts, he's a really trusted source. If he says so, I go, well, did you get a photo? And he goes, no, guy wouldn't let us get a photo, man. But 30-pound albacore, and, you know, pretty exciting times right now. And I'm just like gobbling it up, man. I mean, he's just throwing one in the corner, and I'm eating every single freaking bait that he's throwing because I want to believe it so bad. Even 1 little albacore. Well, he couldn't go any further. Even, you know, I mean, he had pity on me at some point. He goes, hey, it's a joke, okay? We're just chumming you up. So, man, Sean got me. And he got the bluefin also, 37 bluefin tuna on board the Pride. those guys on the Pride, I got to tell you, at a 22nd Street landing, fish so hard. They are so fishy. That boat gets bit. And Sean, I'll get even with you sometime, some way. I'm going to get even with you. That was an absolute good one. All right, so up here in the LA Orange County area, there is kind of like 2 or 3 different areas of bluefin that we're fishing right now. One is just south of Point Loma, not all that far. I think the cat's out of the bag on it, but down there around the rock pile area, there's bluefin tuna down there. And then that San Clemente Island fish, which bites from, it's all inconsistent right now. Sometimes it's really, really good, and sometimes it backs off. But I'll tell you, the LA Orange County based landings get a chance at this fish. And the Freedom had their chance out of 22nd Street landing. They had 5 out of 10 on the bluefin tuna. 10 hookups, 5 bluefin. Nice grade, looking pretty good. Then they went to Clemente, and the yellow tail were a no-show. It was very slow on the yellows. They did scratch out one and then loaded everybody up with some whitefish after that. El Dorado had 4 yellowtail. Other guys over there once in a while get a big hit. Thunderbird with 40 the other day over there. So it's kind of mixed up, but the sea lions are an A1 pain in the you-know-what over there at San Clemente Island right now, so that has been tough. Native Sun yesterday at Catalina Island with 12 yellowtail, so they had a dozen yellows. The common denominator about that yellowtail, that cat, seems to be that you've got to choose a good hot bait. You should be fishing fluorocarbon, and the lighter the line, the more bites it seems like you get. 15-pound will really get bit well, but then you worry about pulling power on some of those yellows. They're not all big, but there's some big ones mixed in with it. There's 8 to 12-pound stuff, and then some fish over 20. So 20-pound, good hot bait really seems to work well. Number 1 to a 1-0 hook. Smaller hook is going to also work well. Your bait swims better with it, looks more natural to the yellows. So once again, there are some good hits. There's some slower fishing. We're dealing with some wind even at Catalina Island, although it has not been as windy there as it has been in other areas where it's been really nasty. Hey, I've got to go back to the Coronado Islands just to tell you, I told you the San Diego's fishing there. The Grande and several other boats have been there for really good barracuda fishing. The gar bite has been excellent on surface iron. And I'll tell you, I love fishing barracuda. I think it's one of the most fun fish to catch in Southern California, and in this case, Northern Baja, that you're ever going to run into. So gar fishing is good. And then there's some sheepshead and whitefish and rockfish and lingcod, and the occasional little pop on yellowtail. Real low numbers. I'm talking 1 yellow, 2 yellows, 5 yellows, like that. Hopefully that's going to get going here very, very soon. I have no doubt that it will, just a matter of time. But for right now, that is what you're dealing with, and also some good bonito fishing going on there in that neck of the woods. Up and down our coastal areas with this cool water and windy conditions, surface fishing has not been wide open, but we've seen some good half-day calico bass fishing in San Diego. Dana Warsworth fishing, a lot of shorts having to be returned, but good action. Mostly those sculpin and rockfish here along the coastal regions, and nothing wrong with that. Great eating fish. It's just, as I've said, our oceanography is behind this year. Even though we're starting to see yellowfin tuna and other things, we're not quite there in terms of the switchover. So the door is still open for albacore, I think, Sean. And also, locally, we're still catching predominantly cooler water species right now. Hopefully that will turn into a barracuda bite here one of these days very, very soon. Maybe some yellows will move in and the bass bite will improve. We'll have to see how that all plays out. All right, we got some exceptional catches for you all that I'll go through in kind of rapid fire. But I got to mention Alex Serrano. He's got his son Juan and all their friends. They were literally in the Santa Monica Bay yesterday looking at sheets of triggerfish, sheets of triggerfish. They limit it out on triggerfish up here. When he sent me the photo of all those triggers, I said, okay, well, I wonder where he's fishing down in Mexico. But he was up here. Alex, way to go. And Juan, you're number 1. Keep up the good work. Also, Bert Carlson on the Monte Carlo yesterday. He had his nephew, Alex, 9 years old, out there on his second Monte Carlo trip, and they had a really great time together. I'll tell you, Uncle Bert is a great guy. Now, Uncle Bert brought him by, Alex, at one time not that long ago, and I just so happened to have a pair of deck boots and a tackle box with some tackle in it, and he is putting it to really good use. I love that. Michael Olson, a black sea bass in the surf that he quickly released. Nice going, Michael, and piled on a limit of halibut on top of that. How can you beat that? Lalo Saldana with a critter in the surf that you don't catch all that often, an angel shark. Nice going there. A kayak halibut for Freddie Vasquez. R.K. Toji with some good Corbina fishing in the surf. And our good friend David Rosenthal, who's just an exceptional guy. He's got a Facebook page, SoCal Long Range Fishing. He is really doing a great job on that page. You should subscribe or just whatever you do on Facebook. I forget. Join that group. And David with some good striper fishing here in the last couple days also. So really good stuff going on. All right, my friends. I'm the sucker who will fall for any albacore troll, as Sean Roberts proved. And man, did I fall for that one, hook, line, and sinker. Don't forget Horizon with Captain Bill Wilkerson on August the 15th, day and a half trip. That's going to fill up fast. 844-619-3474. You can book the El Patron out of 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro. 310-980-9817. Also, Channel Islands area. We need to talk about that just for a second. They're dealing with a lot of wind up there, but in that wind, they're still picking a few halibut up there, trying to catch you lots of rockfish. There's sea bass around. The Channel Islands story is not over by a long run. We just need to get out of this wind. Remember that bluefin tuna up there about a week ago. They still are looking down the barrel of some incredible white sea bass fishing to come. Halibut fishing, and they have all those rockfish. I'm telling you, things are looking good. Coral Loma with great rock fishing yesterday, mostly whitefish, but wide open limits on the whitefish. So even in the wind, they're able to pull it off. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining us. Like, share, subscribe. That's deeply appreciated. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, live from Island Fishing Tackle in Carson, California with Sam De La Torre, Tackle Shop Confessions. Don't miss that. And of course, here today, I will have more shorts and more information for you all. All right, have a great day. And as always, I hope to see you really, really soon, my friends.